now we will have Reverend Karol give her talk for today, which is the Wealth Spark and Spiritual Economics.
Yay! I like the Wealth Spark, spiritual economics. I mean, I have to do economics. So the first thing we're going to start off with a meditation specifically centered around abundance. So I invite you all to put your feet firmly planted. My native tribe calls it Aki, Earth, Mother Earth. So get those feet planted, and whatever you came in with, just release it. Release it. Take a deep breath. You're in a safe place. As we relax into our meditation, we listen to these words and just affirm them. I am worthy of everything I desire. It is safe for me to desire more. I am open and ready to receive the abundance coming my way. I am deeply grateful for everything in my life right now. I release all shame and judgments of myself. I am deeply loved. I am creative and open to new possibilities. I'm ready to share my talents and gifts with others. It is safe for me to receive more. I deserve the life of abundance I desire. Money comes to me easily and regularly. I am wise with my money. There is always more money. I attract miracles in my life. I believe in myself. I am aligned and in flow. Abundance beyond my wildest dreams is here for me. I surrender to the wisdom of the universe. I am so thankful for the abundance that is already in my life. I am talented and capable and wise. My body is healthy and abundant with life from the inside out. I have an abundance of love, energy, and resources to give to others. I breathe in and receive. I breathe out and I give. It is safe for me to be healthy and wealthy. Others' judgments of me are not my business and cannot touch the love and the purpose that's here in my heart. My dreams and desires are worthy and meaningful. I give more. I am a money magnet. I release all my money blocks. I release all resistance to money and allow it to flow freely into my life. I do work I love, and I am paid well for it. I am worthy of prosperity right now. Let's take a moment and take those words into silence. As we come back to our present moment, we come back with a renewed understanding of abundance and the role that it plays in our life. When you're feeling comfortable, you can open your eyes. Come back. Good morning.
Morning.
So my talk today is actually the first part of a two-part talk that's going to be done today, and then I'm going to finish it when I come back the first weekend of September, which is right before our class. So the title of my talk today is The Wealth Spark and Spiritual Economics, and I have a sign-in sheet because the class is going to be Wednesdays for 6 weeks, starting September 4th. From 5:30 to 6:30 here. We're going to do it in person. And when I talk to you today about spiritual economics, oh, those are the two books. Here's the two books. Let me hold them up. One is Eric Butterworth. You can't go wrong with Eric Butterworth, okay? And the other is Reverend James Parker, who I happen to sit with on the Unity Worldwide Headquarters board. And when I was off on sabbatical, you think I was just drinking and having fun. Oh no. I was also reading The Health Spark. And I loved this book so much that I thought, let's put this into our prosperity class. And James has lovingly shared some teaching tips with me. And when I come back in the first weekend of September, I'm really going to overview his book. But today, I really want to overview spiritual economics. And spiritual economics is really foundational thinking in unity. So I'm going to go through some of the chapters, and I'm just going to highlight some of the chapters that we're going to be reading about and we're going to be exploring in this class. And today, hopefully, you'll get a little nugget or two out of it. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the truth about substance. The truth is that the whole of God's substance is present in its entirety at every point in space and time. Take that in. At every point in space and time, substance is there. I am created in substance, formed in substance, and ceaselessly supported by substance. There is an allness in every illness, an all-sufficiency within every appearance of lack, and the joy of the Lord within every moment of sorrow. You can fill in Lord with whatever you call him. I call him Sweet Spirit. Some people call him Lord. Some people say God. Some people say universe. Some people say universal spirit. But I am always connected to that. I am a richly endowed expression of an opulent universe. And there's always sufficient means to do the things I want to do. Now, the metaphysical meaning of substance, so it's going to be like a little class today, so bear with me. Substance is the divine idea of the underlying reality of all things. Substance is everywhere present, pervades all things, and inspires us to action. It underlines all manifestation and is the spiritual essence, that living energy out of which everything is made. Through substance, all the attributes of being, how I be, being, through substance, all the attributes of being are expressed. It sustains and enriches any idea that is projected into it. So that's why the mind plays such a big part in our abundance. If you grew up in, as my mom did, in a family who went through the Depression, you have a much different attitude about money than what I do. Their family was very, very frugal. And the first time I took her someplace for dinner and paid more than $20 for the dinner, my mom was shocked. How could you pay that just for dinner? We could have made that at home. Yeah, but you wouldn't have the ocean view. But there's a mindset that goes with us and with substance, not just money. Not just money. Abundance is not just our money. It is our loving relationships. It is coincidences that happen to us when we get that job that we've always wanted, or we find that perfect place where we can do the work that we're supposed to do. Chapter 2 is all about my fortune begins with me. I am the most important person to God. You ever hear my talk? God can't help loving me. He just can't help himself, okay? God is not off somewhere in space where I must strain to reach him and get him to work a miracle for me if I'm lucky. God is on my side. God has a stake in me. God is not someone to reach for, but a presence to accept. Walt Whitman sings, "Henceforth I ask not good fortune. I myself am good fortune." I love that. I woke up this morning and I did my stretch, and I usually do, thank you God. And because I wrote this talk yesterday, I did, I myself am good fortune. And I looked at myself and I looked really fortunate. I was dressed, so it was okay. And then we're going to talk about the law of visualization. We're going to talk about the Hebrew word from which we get the word I, literally means fountain. So when we visualize things, we tap into a fountain of all good, and a fountain of whatever you think of, whatever you believe and perceive, you can achieve. If I can believe it, and first I perceive it. If I believe it and I perceive it, I can achieve it. I can do anything. The metaphysical meaning of law is a faculty of the mind that holds every thought and act strictly to the truth of being, regardless of circumstances. Meaning, your circumstances do not determine what can happen. I was a kid from Detroit that came out here to California, and look at this great life that I've created. And I think about that, and I think about how, did I know this when I was leaving Detroit? No, I was leaving to get married to the ex-husband. But there are miracles that happen, and miracles are not these things that are random, and they're not random, and they're not just boom, I get a miracle out of the blue. A miracle is an event or effect in the physical world beyond or out of ordinary cause of things. But you know, with my mind, I can cause a lot of things. So miracles are something that happen in everyday life all the time. I just got a call from one of my friends gonna have a baby, and they've been trying in vitro for a long time, and they quit in vitro. And about 6 months ago, they just couldn't afford it anymore. And we've been praying fertility, and we've been fertility in all things, and called today and said, guess what? I'm pregnant. No in vitro, no, nothing but prayer, and manifestation and visualization. She was visualizing that baby in her arms. And once she got over when the in vitros would fail, she said, I can't envision it anymore. Yep, still envision it. It's okay to envision it. And it was my prayers with her were giving her the courage just to keep praying and keep visualizing. Chapter 4 is If I Can Believe. So I want to tell you a little story about my mom, Edna. Edna, we would take her down to the casino when I would go back to Detroit. And my brother and I, we were pretty lucky in the casino. I don't know if you know that about me, but we're pretty lucky in the casino. I have an attitude when I go in that says, I am a winner. So my brother and I get my mom in the car. My mom's like 85 at this time, and she's in the car, back seat with us. My brother's driving. It's scary with my brother driving. But anyway, so we're driving down there, and she said, I never win. We said, Mom, you gotta have the attitude. I'm a winner. I'm a winner. I'm a winner. Now, the ride down to MGM Grand from our house was about a half an hour. And we had her the whole time, I'm a winner. I'm a winner. I'm a winner. I am. I can win. I know I can win. So we get out of the car, and my little sister and her husband had driven down in another car. And my little sister walks up and she said, you ready for the casino, Mom? And Mom goes, well, they say I'm a winner, but I lose every time. And I looked at my brother, I said, that's a half an hour of my life I can't get back. But it's kind of that faith that you have. When I walk into a casino, I walk in with expectations. My expectations is I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna relax, maybe have an adult beverage, only one. Remember we told you that whole thing about going back to Detroit and having to party, Carol's gone. But I'll have an adult beverage, and I'll sit and I have fun with the games. I have fun with the bonuses in the games. And when they hit the bonus, my favorite one is called Rich Girl. When you hit the bonus, he takes you diamond shopping. And his name is Dan, and at the end of it, she goes, oh, Dan, you always know what I want. It's called Rich Girl. Anyway, I digress. So we're going to talk about how faith plays a role in our abundance, because faith has a lot of purpose as we're talking about abundance. And I'm going to talk about Options for Life, which is my company. I could never create that. I set out to do good work. And at that time, there were no programs in the community for people with special needs, with people with intellectual challenges. So I basically said, I want them to be out in their community. And I wrote a program design, and it was accepted, thank God. But God had a part in that. I couldn't have done that on my own, and I couldn't have done with it what we've done with it over the years. That is all out of faith, and that is a co-creation. I worked hard, don't get me wrong, I worked hard, but God worked harder. The harder I worked, the harder God worked. Chapter 5 is going to talk about a grateful heart. And how does gratitude play a role in your life? Do you get up every day? This was my mom, she would get up every day. Dear God, thank you, God, for another day to see my family. Now, when she got to be 95 years old, she said, I think God forgot me. I said, Mom, you're giving him mixed messages. You're telling him every day, thank you for another day. He's giving you another day. But what role does gratitude play in your life? I recently had the 3 great nieces that were here, and we had to have a little conversation about gratitude. Because after Aunt Carol had dropped $300 at the nail salon, one of them came out and said, "We're hungry. I want lunch. We want Raising Cane's." And I take a breath and don't slap that child. That is not your child to slap, Carol. And it was on my heart. It stayed on my heart so much that I did 2 lifeline calls. Help. I'm feeling a certain way about this. So that night when we sat down at dinner, I was able to have an honest conversation, a very conscious, honest conversation about the role that gratitude has played in my life and how grateful I am for every little thing that is done for me and how I try to make sure to say thank you. Do I miss the mark on occasion? I probably do. But I really try to stay in that grateful, loving place. We're going to talk about work and the success syndrome, and I've already shared with you, my goal was not to start a big company. My goal was to do good work with people that I love working with, that I've loved working with since I was in the 6th grade as a safety guard in that classroom, working with the kids with special needs when my mom was a teacher's aide, and I learned that they were kids just like me. And so, how do you approach your work? We're going to talk about reversing financial adversity. Have you ever had financial adversity? Because I didn't start off like this, the way I am today. I was reminded last night, when I first came out here, I got married and my ex-husband lived here and we lived here together. And when I left, I was working 2 jobs. I was working at a day program called Tierra del Sol, which is out in the valley, and I was also working in a residential group home at night. Both were minimum wage jobs at that time. They're a little better paid now, but both were really struggling. And I remember I used to be able to eat at the group home. So I was so excited that I had a job where I could eat with everybody to role model good eating habits, right? Good eating manners. So one night, I forget what happened, but I went home and all I had in the kitchen was, I swear to you, a jar of peanut butter. Crunchy peanut butter. But when I went in, I was so hungry because I hadn't had dinner. And so I got out the spoon and I spooned my peanut butter. And that's what was my dinner. And I had my mail there and I was really feeling low, like maybe I should just go home. What should I, I'm just struggling so much out here. And there was a card from my grandma. It was right before my birthday. And there was a card from my grandma, a birthday card, and it had $20 in it. My grandma was lovely. And then my great aunt Vic, Zia Vic. Zia used to send you $5 for your birthday no matter how old you were or how much $5 had depreciated. But that $5 that I opened up in the next card meant so much to me, and I sat there and I cried. And I was so grateful for them acknowledging my birthday and me having money for something tomorrow besides just peanut butter. I didn't want to have peanut butter again. So I have not always been the money magnet, abundant person that I am. I have struggled, and we're going to talk about how financial struggles play into our thoughts on our abundance. Because during that time, I thought I was going to have to leave California until I opened those cards. That was the thought that kept running through my mind. You're not going to make it here. And then when I opened those cards, I thought, I can get through tomorrow. I wasn't willing to look past that to the next day. We're going to also talk about security in a changing world. How do I feel abundant when the stock market is doing what it's doing with my retirement fund? Did you see a dip? Yeah.
A few weeks ago?
A few weeks ago.
Oh, yes.
And I went, take a breath. And then from the depths inside of me, I heard this thing, it always comes back. And I went, okay, it always comes back. I like that thought more than trying to look up how much I lost that day. The next thing we're gonna talk about is money. Have I had a time of financial stringency and cried out, I need money? And what role does money play in our abundance? For me, I like money. The more money I get, the more money I give. Last year, both my accountant and I were shocked at what I gave. I'm telling you, it was not a tenth of my salary. It was much more. And I was delighted after I got over the shock, because it was, look, Unity of the West Side needed stuff last year, okay? Did you remember the roof thing? And it just so happened that I took an owner's draw for my business, and I always tithe on whatever money I get. So I was shocked at how much I gave. But there is a giving attitude. So discovering the wonder of giving. And I'm gonna tell you, yesterday I woke up, I was having a bad day. And when I woke up, I went and got my hair blown out, and I just was missing my brother. It was his birthday last week. I've had 2 siblings that have passed, and I was really in grief. It was a wave of grief that just came over me. And I was going through McDonald's to get my lunch after I got my hair blown out, because I had to come home and write the script and the slides, because Sarah's dancing off in Greece somewhere. And I thought, I'm having a funky day. So when I pulled up, my Happy Meal came to $12. Happy Meals are now $12.
Not happy about that.
But, so I paid my $12 and I said, I'd like to pay for the lady behind me. And I looked behind me and there's a lady with 2 kids in her car. And mine was $12, hers for $22. That's okay, I paid it. And I said, just give her the receipt. And I moved to the next window so I could get my food. Now my goal is, when I do this, to try to get out of there before they try to look at me or honk at me or whatever. So I'm trying to get out of there as fast as I can, and I looked back and they're all hanging out the window. Thank you so much. And these 2 little kids are hanging out the window. Thank you so much. And what happened to my day was I did a 180. That's how I do it. That's how I choose to be in the world when I recognize that I'm stuck in something negative. I just try to do something positive. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a look at tithing. The big T word. Nobody likes tithing. Oh, tithing. I got to give 1/10 of my salary. Giving 1/10 of one's supply to God and His work. Tithing is a tactical agreement that man is in partnership with God in the conduct of his finances. This leads to confidence and assurance to whatever is done will bring an increase of some kind. Give, and it shall be given unto you. So we are going to talk about tithing and the role that tithing plays. And you'll see me when I'm up here doing blessing the gifts, the financial gifts that we all give. I am talking about a flow. And Eric Butterworth, in his book, Spiritual Economics, talks about stepping into that flow of both giving and getting. I am given to, therefore I can give. And how blessed I am to give. So that is spiritual economics. This is the basis of it's a little taste of what this class is going to give you. And I think it's going to be a great class. We're going to also talk about a new world order. We're going to talk about a place where Eric Butterworth and Charles Fillmore believe that once we reach a certain consciousness, we must give. It isn't a I should give anymore. It is that if you have something that has been given to you, you must look on how to give it away. We go back to our Magic Penny song. Love ain't nothing unless you give it away. This is going to be this class. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to teach it. I haven't taught this class ever. And using the Wealth Spark, which is from Reverend James Parker, he's out of Chicago. So if you ever get a chance to go visit him in Chicago, he sits on the board with me, and he's a really great soul. So we're gonna use his book, which is the Wealth Spark, and he asks a lot of questions. So when I come back next time, I'm gonna be overviewing that book for you, just to give you a little taste of what the class is gonna be. So it is a $100 investment, $40 for the books, and $60 for 6 weeks of classes. They're hour-long classes, they're gonna be on Wednesday nights, and I'm really, really looking forward to speaking, and I hope you got something from today. This was just an overview. So thank you so much for letting me speak today.